Oh, that's all I need. A spider in the basin. And it's a big one. And it's all lit up. Yes, it's a scary Halloween LED USB spider light. So, how would you like to make your own LED spider light? It's really not that hard. It's just 8 of these flexible LED USB lights plugged into a couple of USB hub circuit boards, and then they're plugged into this 7-in-1 USB hub. Yeah, not difficult at all, really. So let's take this apart. Let's remove the 7-port USB hub. You can see the 5 ports there, and there are 2 ports on the other side. This is a cheapest of cheap 7-port USB hubs. And then probably the most difficult part in building this is putting the spacers between these 2 USB hub circuit boards so that the pitch of these 2 connectors is exactly right to fit into the sockets of the USB hub, which incidentally makes a very nice spider abdomen. Very nice, very bulbous. So let's remove the 8 legs, and then we can just look at these 2 4-port USB hub circuit boards. They're just exposed boards. They're not in any sort of case. It'd be nice, I suppose, if they were in a nice sort of circular black plastic case, but that sort of thing is very difficult to find on eBay. But these work. They distribute what is just one USB power input, first into 2, and then those 2 are distributed into 8. And that's the most important thing, getting power to the 8 flexible USB lights. So here are all the parts you need to build this spider light. This is the USB hub abdomen. This is the 4-port USB hub. I think it's called the cephalothorax or something. Cephalothorax, yeah, something like that. The 8 flexible LED light legs. And we need also some standoff pillars. We'll need 4 of those. And also some basic tools, a spanner for the pillars, and also a screwdriver for the screws. So the first thing we need to do is mount these 2 boards on top of each other with pillars which are exactly the right length to make sure that the spacing between these sockets fits into your multi-port hub, whichever type you buy. So firstly we need to measure the distance between 2 of these sockets. And well, it's hard to show this, but it is about 13 millimeters. Now the length of the pillar has to be that distance, 13, minus the thickness of this board, which is about 1 millimeter. In fact, this board's probably 1.6 because that's kind of a standard thickness, and this is about 13.5 actually between these. So it ends up being about right with a 12 millimeter pillar. And these pillars came from this set of brass standoff spacers, M2.5, so 2.5 millimeter thread diameter. And this one's quite good because it has all the sizes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, and some nuts. Interestingly, the 6s are also 5s, so it wasn't quite what I ordered, but it doesn't really matter because I only wanted the 12 millimeter pillars, 4 of those, some nuts, and I had to provide the screws or bolts separately. You'll have to find your own 2.5 millimeter screws. And I'll also include a link, an eBay link to this set in the description below the video. Right, so let's put 4 of these 12 millimeter M2.5 pillars through these 4 holes and fit nuts onto the back using this little spanner. What's that? That's 5.5 and 5 millimeters. So with 4 pillars mounted onto what's going to be the bottom board. Actually, when it's upside down in spider mode, it's kind of the top board. But let's now put this other one on here and put these 4 screws through the holes screw them up with a cross point screwdriver. Let's do that 4 times. And there we are. There's the sort of central body of the spider, nice and solid. That's not going to come apart. And with a spacing on these 2 USB connectors so that it's exactly right to plug in to this USB hub. Now all we need to do is put the legs on it. Now you will need 8 of these flexible USB light sticks. I've got a couple of pink ones here to show what shape they need to be bent into, but of course you'll want black ones for the spider. So for the central legs, I bent a little kink. Now which side is that? Yes, that's that side. So put a little kink immediately coming out of the plug, and then bend it back down, and then slightly bend out the foot. And then of course you need to put a little angle in one way for one leg and one way for the other, and that just gives that little sort of spider leg appearance. So let's put those in. So that is this one and this one. And then for the bottom USB hub, we want to put more of a bend, slightly less of a hump in there, because that's really for these two that are on the top that you can see more easily. So this one's got more of a bend, so it comes out at more of an angle, and similarly the other bottom one. So you get a nice spread on the 4 legs like that. Then repeat the process on the other side. So these two with a nice humped leg go on the top, but not much of an angle bend. And then the bottom ones, you've got much more of an angle. They go in like so. And there's our finished spider light. Now this USB hub came with a USB cable. It uses one of those old style B connectors, which are really only used on printers. So we'll plug that in there. Any power bank really, I'm using this big one, but you can use a small one as well. Plug that in, and the spider light illuminates. And I think it works best with these lights pointing down, because the little pools of white light accentuate the blackness of the legs, which makes it look even more scary. And if you hung this thing up, it actually makes a pretty good overhead light, but I think it works best as a spider. So there it is, a scary Halloween LED spider light made out of LED sticks and USB hubs. Have a spooky Halloween!